This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
I am Iron Man.
That's a big twink.
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds.
You are a toy!
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Why so serious?
You see these flying? We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Troy, AJ, Joel. Alright, so this, I tried to even practice saying this before I called, because it is important to me, but also it kind of sounds incoherent at times, so heads up. Here goes. You were talking about the 15 movies that made over $1 billion, and it really got me thinking, kind of like a pet peeve I have. Box office numbers and how people will use box office numbers to judge whether a movie is good or not. To me, box office numbers, all that means was that the movie was a success, comparatively to what they spent making the movie. Oh, this movie did $700 million, cost $100 million to make, so it was a success. Great. But other times, people will use box office numbers to say, oh wow, this movie made $1 billion. It must have been a great movie. What really, all that was the trailer and the hype of the movie were good enough to make you go buy a ticket. It had nothing to do with whether the movie was good or not. Possibly repeat business, repeat customers. But when someone solely bases how good a movie is, I'm driving through a lot of wind, so I apologize if it's loud. All that does is show the company that they did a good enough job in the trailer and the build up to get you to go see the movie, because most people won't ask for a refund, and I think most theaters won't give you one after 20, 30 minutes anyways. So, thoughts on box office and how to judge a movie, and maybe a better system besides Amazon reviews to really see if a movie that you loved did terribly in the movie theaters, but then once it came out on video, everyone loved it, became a cult classic, and made all its money there. And anyways, thoughts on box office projections and amount, totals, and how they correlate to quality of the movie. All right, good luck sorting that out. Appreciate it.
And welcome to World War G, episode 243. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
So you just heard another one of Joel's messages. Pretty lengthy one this time.
Yeah. And don't worry, Joel. We did understand. It was pretty cohesive.
Yeah. It was coherent. Hopefully our response will be as well. So So box office numbers as compared to whether or not that makes
a movie successful,
or if it's even a good movie.
Right. And I think a lot of it has to do with, like what Joel was saying, is it comes down to like marketing and advertising, also name recognition. There's a lot of like factors that go into it even before a movie comes out. You know, if they're hyping the movie and they're going around on tours and talking about it and people like building this buzz around it, obviously it's going to generate more money, which is difficult to do for some of these small indie films or like not as big budget blockbusters. Right?
Yeah. Now, I would agree that a movie making $1 billion doesn't always guarantee that it's good. I mean, look at Avatar.
Yeah. Case in point.
And, however, when you look at a movie like Endgame.
Yeah.
Biggest movie ever at this point.
Right.
And it lives up to the hype. It's a great movie.
Right.
And so I think, most people go and see it and like, oh, that's awesome, that's great. But the fact that it makes $1 billion, then makes $1 billion again, that means pretty much everybody who saw it again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there's only so many people out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So it went quickly. It made that money really fast. So to me, that would also be a benchmark in the fact that this is a really good movie.
Then again, you've got that outlier of Avatar.
An Avatar.
Right?
But Avatar, however...
It took a little bit longer, and then they also did, they brought it back with a 3D version, so a lot of people did see it again.
Yeah. And that was the big thing with Avatar, is that it was so hyped up around the effects and 3D and that sort of thing that's why most people went and saw it. That's why I went and saw it. Yeah.
They were even doing it. They got, I remember watching an episode with my mom of Bones, and one of the extra people that were on the show, or one of the Bones, whatever her name is. I can't even remember because I didn't finish the series. But anyways,
Emily Deschanel.
Thank you. Yeah, she one of her helpers, assistants, was going to be in this movie, so he was even kind of mentioning it and talking about Avatar and stuff. There was so much buzz built up around this movie. Yeah. But I would say as long as the movie's able to make its money back, I would consider it a success.
Yeah, I would agree.
As far as the movie's concerned, even if it doesn't make its money back, there's probably been some great movies that have gone on to become cult classics, and people really like after the fact. Whether it's because it's really cheesy, super cheesy, and it knows what it is, or it just flew under the radar. Yeah. But for the most part, if you're gonna spend that much money, you're hopefully going to get a return on it.
Yeah. And also here's the other thing. Because ticket prices and such are so inflated nowadays, it's not as difficult to reach $1 billion as it was 20 years ago.
Right.
Look at Frozen. Okay. Frozen was a huge juggernaut for Disney.
Yeah.
But are just adults going to see that one by themselves? No, they're bringing their kids, and not just their kids, but their friends, their kids' friends, and
right.
And so it really, there's so many different factors that go into a movie making so much money that Joel's right. It doesn't always equate that it's a good film.
Right.
But for the most part, I would say maybe a little over half the time, if not maybe 70-75%, if a movie does make $1 billion,
there's got to be something good about it.
There's something to it. Yeah. And chances are it's a pretty decent film. Now, I've seen great films that haven't even, cracked the top 10 as far as box office goes. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad film. It's just, there wasn't that advertisement behind them. Look at the movie Hell or High Water.
Right.
Fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah.
But not a lot of people saw it because there wasn't a bunch of hype behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it did okay, but
which is crazy because you've got somebody like Jeff Bridges and you've got Chris Pine?
Chris Pine, yeah.
Right? And a couple other big name celebrities in this movie, but it just kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah.
It's still sitting. I actually was talking to somebody about it yesterday, telling them that they should watch it because it is on Netflix. And I was like, dude, it's sitting at 97% still on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
This is a great movie.
Yeah.
Not that you can necessarily go off of Rotten Tomatoes anymore, but so the only true way to know if a film is going to be good or not is to listen to this podcast.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's the only way I can see. If you want to know what to spend your bucks on,
I would also, I would say there actually is something to that.
Yeah.
Because we don't really have any
invested interest, or we're not getting any money.
Yeah. It's not like we're getting
paid
for any of this, or, we're not getting, movie reviewers and newspapers and stuff. We're not getting paid by the word or anything. So, it doesn't behoove us to go on this long diatribe of why the movie should be taken more seriously and why it's
such a great film.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there is something to that. If we say a movie's crap, it's it probably is crap.
Yeah.
If we say it's good, then it's probably good. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know. I'm just saying we'll give it to you straight.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. So, because of where I work at a grocery store, and so I see some of all this new stuff.
This limited time offers, kind of like short shelved
limited
items.
edition type things.
Yeah. And
I found a couple of these limited edition Oreos.
Well, because, okay, around the holiday season, you know, we're like, we've got Thanksgiving and then Christmas right around the corner, right? You sometimes, and like, you've even got these like great games that are coming out as well, and you need some like snacking food.
You do,
right? And what better? Like Oreos are seriously like a staple in the nerd universe, in our culture of just being able to like do a line of them.
Do a line of Oreos.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, these smell good. All right, so these are maple cream Oreo.
This is kind of a salute to our neighbors to the north. Right off the bat, it looks like the cookie is maple. It's got maple inside of it, right? Without even like trying just the maple frosting itself.
Yeah, like the cookie itself, it almost like has a feel of like graham cracker to it.
It looks a little bit like graham crackers. Yeah.
Which that's actually I think a good idea.
Oh, just the cookie by itself, because I had to spin it apart. The cookie tastes exactly like Teddy Graham. Right?
That's pretty good. You don't get Oreo, like you don't think Oreo, but it's a really good flavor.
Yeah. It's not too overpowering like maple. Wow.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Like a glass of milk, that'd be good stuff. Now, these ones, because 'tis the season.
Right.
They're like two flavors that you think about with the holidays. Around Thanksgiving, it's all about pumpkin spice, October, November, pumpkin spice. Then you get the holiday season, Christmas, and you get peppermint.
Yeah, you think of candy canes.
Everything's peppermint. And so, that being said,
I guess Halloween is also pumpkin spice now. I was trying to think, I was thinking of all these different holidays and seeing, is there a flavor to many different holidays? And the only ones I can really think of are like Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, Easter is basically chocolate.
Yeah.
So, that's not like a weird flavor or anything.
A specific flavor that's iconic to the holiday.
Wow, these are potent.
Yeah. As soon as you open them up, it just hits you.
So these are peppermint bark Oreos.
Do you think that because peppermint bark is typically done with dark chocolate, right?
Clear your sinuses. Yeah, usually.
So does the cookie look a little bit more darker, or does it taste any different?
No, it's the same.
That's an Oreo cookie.
And so the cream is peppermint. That's strong.
But it still works.
But it's still good.
Yeah.
I mean,
man.
Peppermint and chocolate work anyway.
Right.
So it's not really any surprise there, but...
See, I don't know which one I would choose over the other, because they're both good in their own right.
Well, I'll leave those there.
Oh, man.
So we want a little snacky while we record.
Yes.
I think, personally...
Peppermint?
I prefer the maple cream.
Really? I actually think, personally, I prefer the,
peppermint?
The peppermint bark, yeah. Yeah.
Because the peppermint's it's just a little too overwhelming for me. I mean, I like peppermint, but...
Yeah. Oh, I like the clear the sinuses kind of peppermint, the really strong stuff. And I would be really interested to hear from our listeners what is the proper way to eat an Oreo? Because we both did it the same way, but I think that was like partially because we wanted to try the cookie itself and then the rest of it. But I normally do that. I just like unscrew an Oreo. Yeah.
So I usually don't. If I'm just eating an Oreo, I'll just eat the Oreo.
And you just pop it in one bite? You know, you're not like nibble on it or it takes 3 bites, you know? Yeah, okay. All right, just making sure.
I'm not a savage. But yeah, these are really good. If you are in the grocery stores and you see those, pick those up. They're pretty delicious.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you were to like make something like with those? Like, don't they have a lot of different recipes for like Oreo, almost like a base for like a was it like a cherry or like a cheesecake? Mm-hmm. Right? Maple cream Oreos as a base for a cheesecake.
Ooh, a maple cream cheesecake.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Why hasn't anybody done that yet?
Right? Because it's a limited time. If you don't catch them, like, you know, there's like a small little window.
Yeah. And I mean, look, look at the size of this package. Now, they're ripping you off, sure.
Yeah.
But
because a normal Oreo package is what, almost 16 ounces?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? These are like 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10. The peppermint bark was 10.7 ounces.
Okay, maple is 12.2.
And I can't remember how much they were. I just bought them when I got off work this morning. They're like, I would say they were 2 something a piece or something like that. Anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, those are tasty. I really like those. We'll see if they survive the whole episode. So let's get into stories there. Oh, before that though, I just really quick, I gotta say, I was a little let down this week. Both of my best girls let me down this week.
Oh yeah. How so?
Anna and Emma, they let me down.
What? How?
So, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Huh.
So So Emma Watson came out either this week or last week, and she was she gave an interview about how, you know, she's almost 30, and, you know, she's single, not married, no children.
Troy's like, yes, go on.
and she's saying that there's a lot of pressure on women nowadays. If you're not married by a certain age, that, you know, there must be something wrong, blah, blah, blah. So she came up with this new term for being almost 30, if you're a female, almost 30 and single. It's called self-partnering.
Okay. I didn't hear this at all.
Yeah, it's stupid. That makes no sense.
Partnering with yourself.
That's an oxymoron. You can't be a partner with yourself. A partner means 2. And it's just one of those bull crap things terms that people just throw out these days. Just just say you're single, you know? Yeah. And you like being single.
Right? And it's like she's had a super fulfilling career, and she's got all these different other projects that she's working on. It's not like she's just like not doing anything, you know?
You don't need to put a special name on it. Yeah. Say you're single. I like being single. Like me, I'm single. I enjoy being single.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to say, oh, I'm self-partnering right now. No, I'm single.
I would never say that. Single. I would feel like such a tool, like, or just like kind of an idiot saying, "Oh, I'm self-partnering right now."
Yeah, I feel like a douchebag.
Yeah, you're just like hashtag, I don't know, self-partnering.
Like I'm sorry, Emma. I love you, but no, no.
And nothing wrong with going, like, you know, going out to a movie by yourself, or to dinner, or doing other activities, you know, or hanging out with friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Anna, my lovely Anna, and Kendrick.
How'd she let you down, Troy?
With the launch of Disney Plus this week, which we'll get into here later. She had a new Christmas movie out. called Noelle.
Yeah.
I was very excited.
Because you're like, all right, she's going to be Santa Claus?
Yeah, Anna Kendrick, Christmas. Yeah, great. Okay. It's terrible. I couldn't get through 20 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Oh, oof.
Yeah. I can't.
There was actually a movie that you couldn't make it through of hers. That, wow, that's saying something.
And yeah, I'll sit through some garbage if she is in it, you know.
Right.
But this one is just it's supposed to be a family film, so they're catering.
Is it Hallmark-esque?
It's very Hallmark-esque.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just the acting is like really like overdone, and they're just doing too much, just packed in too much.
Yeah.
And that was only in the first 20 minutes.
Dang.
So I'm like, no thanks. But I was just so disappointed in both my girls this week.
Huh. Ladies.
Anyway.
No.
Let's get
Speaking of ladies.
Yeah, let's get to our story here. Stories. So, we know that, speaking of Disney Plus, there's going to be some new Marvel series coming out. A few of which are Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. Well, recently, Kevin Feige confirmed that not only will they be on the small screen, but they will make future appearances in the films as well.
Which is a big deal, because for the most part, television and movies have been separate, and they kind of keep them apart.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel not so much as DC, but still, like, for the most part, they have two different things.
Yeah. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. never showed up in any of the MCU films.
What's his bucket did?
Agent Coulson. But he was there before they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so.
Yeah.
But once he got onto the TV show, he never showed up in the films again.
Well, he was dead. But
well, according to them, he wasn't, though. He actually did survive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And wow, that makes it even worse. Then Nick Fury was basically just like lying to them all, like just saying like, yeah, we need to like fight for him, and he's not even dead. Like win one for the Gipper. Nope, his blood's on these cards, but he's not dead.
No, he wasn't dead.
Wow. Man, Nick.
Yeah. And like the Netflix heroes never appeared in the MCU. So maybe this tells me that I think they've been planning this out for a while.
Right.
And they knew that the Netflix characters were never going to appear in the films, and they knew that they had, the stuff they were going to do on Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure they knew that they were going to incorporate them into the MCU occasionally. That's why they just kind of let the Netflix characters go.
Right.
That's my feeling. But I think it'll be cool to kind of be able to watch them in their own series, and then eventually see them in film as well.
Right.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Because then you've got more of a backstory, and a lot of times you can't always, tell a complete story in that short amount of time, so it makes it easier when you've already got television and people are familiar with the characters, and
yeah,
it seems like everybody and their dog has Disney Plus now. Like,
yeah. What was it, like 10, 12 million people downloaded it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so it doesn't say exactly when. Obviously, they're going to show up, but they will make appearances.
Okay.
So,
look forward to that. Speaking of streaming services, Netflix and Nickelodeon team up on new deal to produce films and new television series. Seriously, Netflix is not going down without a fight. Like
you think they're sweating right now?
A little bit, yeah. Like especially their stockholders, I would imagine, because Disney not only owns Disney Plus, but they also own like 60% of Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
And they're snatching up different commodities and different like companies and studios and stuff left and right.
Yeah.
And it's an all out like frenzy to get stuff and content, you know, for your streaming service. Whether it's like the stuff that they've already created for Nickelodeon and these other places, or new content, you know, additional content. They're trying to get whatever they can. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how it all pans out in the end.
If I were Netflix and I'm teaming up with Nickelodeon, I don't just produce new film and TV series.
Yeah.
I would, like Disney Plus has done, throw up classic TV shows onto Netflix. So classic Nickelodeon.
The whole series of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And some of these other ones, you know?
And, you know, the 90s are really big right now. 90s TV shows. Mm-hmm. Throw those up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, throw up all those old 90s Nickelodeon, not just the cartoons, but the live action shows as well. Throw all those up. Yeah. I mean, people would love to watch those again.
Oh, absolutely. When it feels like everybody's on this nostalgia kick, especially with Disney Plus, mm-hmm. right? This would be the perfect opportunity for them to do the same thing.
Yeah, throw up every episode of like Rugrats and Rocko's Modern Life and All Real Monsters and Salute Your Shorts and Hey Dude and all that.
Just for people to binge watch.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, and I think they have to in order to stay relevant. Mm-hmm. You know, the other nice thing that Netflix has going for them that Disney Plus doesn't is Disney Plus said that they wouldn't put out any R-rated content.
Right.
Right. So Netflix, they can do whatever they want, you know, and like without having to worry about ratings or like the rating that they're attaching it to.
Yeah, and I mean, Disney Plus is, for the moment, cheaper.
Yeah.
I think
it's
for
like,
a subscription,
$7?
Yeah, it's about $7.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing you're going to find on Disney Plus is just Disney content.
Right.
Everything that Disney owns, which is a lot, you know, not saying it's not, but on Netflix, you're going to get, I think, more of a
variety?
Yeah, a larger spectrum.
Yeah.
So especially movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but
you think eventually Disney Plus will get to the point, you know, where like Hulu and Showtime or HBO and Showtimes and some of these other places were putting out like really good content that was being nominated for awards and stuff, and then like Netflix did the same as well as Hulu. Like Disney Plus is going to be in that same category as well. Do you think they'll be like winning like nominated for like awards like anytime soon?
It's
because a lot of their content, I mean, maybe if they did like some sort of like a really good animated movie or series or something potentially, but I don't know, it's kind of tricky because they're more of the fun, happy-go-lucky, just like, you know, make you feel good kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I could see maybe some of their content down the road getting nominated for things. But right now, I doubt it.
Right.
Although The Mandalorian is taking off and everybody is loving that show. But right now, I can't really see it. I think right now they're just so focused on gathering up all this stuff that they have and putting it on this app. I don't think right now they're focused on making completely original things. They have a few,
yeah,
but I don't think that's completely their focus at the moment.
That's their big push, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since I've heard some things like with Disney Plus that their search engine isn't as refined or as nice as like Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're gonna do like, you know, improvements and stuff on it and change it around.
Yeah, it is pretty broad.
They haven't really narrowed it down, like, or said, like, oh, this is, from these years to this year's, or 90s stuff, or just, like, MCU stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if I go on here, log on here.
Sorry, cookie break.
Cookie break. The name of the episode. Cookie break. So, I mean, if you can see on here, so they kind of break it down. So you have Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic. So you can pick those, or you can scroll. So we have originals. These are recommended for me. Hit movies.
Those are good choices recommended for you.
Yeah. Hit movies, trending, out of the vault. So classic, Disney films. Inspired by true stories, Ultra HD and HDR, Disney Channel favorites, musicals, throwbacks. So they do have categories.
Right.
But they aren't as specific as they could be. Like when it just says musicals. Like, okay. What musicals?
Well, Disney musicals, obviously. No.
Well, I mean, obviously.
But yeah, no, I get what you mean. It was really interesting. Okay, I know this is a side tangent, but we're all about those, so whatever. It was really interesting when I was watching this YouTube video about like the pros and cons of Disney Plus, and they were saying like, it's not quite flushed out entirely. They've got a lot of like content, but it's just primarily just Disney stuff. One of the cons that like it got me thinking is it was just like there's a whole lot more content for you to watch and to binge watch and to not necessarily waste your time with, but in essence, waste your time with, right? And it was just like, it was kind of like almost like a reality check a little bit for myself. And I was just like, oh man, like I do, what else could I be doing like that? Like, I mean, and I'll typically try to like multitask, like throw in some laundry or do the dishes while watching something. But at the same time, I'm just like, oh man, I'm devoting a lot of time to like all these different like shows and stuff. And
yeah.
Like, are we kind of like just, gonna watch ourselves into oblivion, Is that what they're trying to do to us?
I mean,
make us just like mindless cogs?
I mean, it's kind of ironic, but if you watch WALL-E and the people that were on the spaceship on WALL-E, just these giant fat people going around in hover chairs, it's like,
yeah,
that's where we're headed.
As long as I got my Oreos, I don't give a damn.
If I got my maple cream Oreos,
whatever, I'll be fine.
I'll float around in my hover chair.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think. There is so much content out there right now.
Oh, yeah. Whew. Yeah, there's a lot. And it's funny with all these different streaming services. I saw a picture of how much you would actually spend if you had them all, and it's close to about $100 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it. There's so many different ones,
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people say, oh, that it's going to replace cable and everything, but if you get them all, it's basically the same price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, here's another streaming service, since we were just talking about that. HBO Max. So, there's going to be a Friends reunion.
I still think that... Is it questionable, or like, because I was reading one of the articles, and they were saying, it's kind of in the works, yeah, all the people are on board for it, they all want to come back for this.
Well, there's always rumors about Friends reunions.
Right.
But it seems like this one, they've actually talked to the 6 actors, and they've all expressed interest in doing it. Now, I thought this would be like... maybe like an hour, 2 hour, like long movie or something.
Right.
Where they come back as their characters. No. It's not what it is. It's basically they sit down and talk about the show.
Well, isn't it coming up on the 20th year anniversary or something?
25th.
25th, mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, so I guess there's not anything new for them, but like that'd be kind of cool. Like talking about other stories. I'm sure they've talked about like tons of different stories, but they've got to have new ones that they can, talk about like behind the scenes that nobody's ever heard before.
And it's been, I don't think they've ever had where all 6 have sat down and really just talked about the show before.
Right.
They did it while they were filming.
Yeah.
And then 5 of them got on stage at this salute to James Burrows and talked a little about the show, but I don't think it's ever really been actually all 6.
Okay.
And so I think that's why people are...
That's kind of the hype around it. Who was when it was just 5, who was the one that was missing? Was it Jennifer?
No, it was Matthew Perry.
Okay.
He was in London doing a play, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
You think you'd like try to like coordinate that a little bit better to where they could all be there, but whatever.
Well, you'd think, but whatever.
Will it be pretty cool to see that? Will you be watching?
Right?
It's weird. Like Friends is definitely making a comeback, or it just seems like a new generation has embraced the show.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's kind of like the same thing with like The Office.
Yeah,
it's like those of us that watch these shows when they first aired, and they're great. We like them, and then all of a sudden it goes on these streaming services. And everybody's like, "Oh, have you seen the show called Friends? Have you seen the show called The Office?"
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
And then you whip out your T-shirt that says like, "I saw it first. I was there. I watched the first episode." Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would learn anything new.
It's not gonna like.
No.
Yeah.
The only thing that'd be interesting if maybe say, "Oh, there was one time we all got drunk and broke out into a giant orgy."
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Right?
But
yeah, this person slept with this person was doing this behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, if I got like the dirty stuff, the dirty gossip.
Secrets. Yeah.
Secrets, then maybe that would be interesting, but
all right.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're not going to really hear anything new that's going to change the show for you? Yeah.
No.
So, Mark Wahlberg is going to be joining Tom Holland in the Uncharted movie. And I'm not so sure I like this choice. As much as I think Mark Wahlberg is a talented actor, I don't know if he's the right fit for the character Sully. Sully has always been Nathan Drake's right-hand man, and he's always been there by his side, kind of like a father figure, or like I would say more like an uncle to him.
Yeah.
And he also always shows up at the most timeliest of times, right when he needs the most, or he's like, where am I supposed to go? And jumps out a window, and then, Sully's there with a car parked beside, or in an airplane, saving the day, basically. But Sully's character, he's a little bit older and more, and I was trying to think for the longest time. I'm like, well, who would I actually like to see play Sully, that could actually do a great job with this? And I guess what they're going for with this movie is Mark Wahlberg is about the same age. I mean, what is it? Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are about the same age as Nathan Drake would be to Sully. There's kind of that age,
same age gap.
Yeah. So even though, because Tom Holland is also going to be, he'd be a younger Nathan Drake. He's not going to be like Nathan Fillion was basically in Firefly.
Yeah.
About that age. That age right there is the age that I think of when I think of Nathan Drake.
Right.
But I guess if they're going for a younger look, they could age Mark Wahlberg up a little bit later on if they kept him for the series or he stayed around for a couple. The only problem is the last couple of movies I've seen with Mark Wahlberg, I haven't really cared for. He was on that one with the oil rig.
Oh yeah, that one was okay.
I can't think of the name of it now.
Yeah,
Deep water, horizon,
water,
Blue.
horizon, water deep,
Jaws, 47 meters. 3, 4,
47 meters deep.
Just throwing out titles here.
Armageddon, Impact, Deep.
Right, and even Pain and Gain, like, he's all right, but I didn't like him at all in the Transformers movies.
No.
He did a horrible job with that. That was not his best work. But I guess if they're going forward with it, they're trying to get some name recognition here, you know, and get some big name celebrities to do it. But if this movie is not good, like, to me, Naughty Dog can do no wrong. I'm so looking forward to, like, you know, The Last of Us and, like, all these other like titles that they're coming out with. But if they botch this, I will be sorely disappointed in them, because I love that. I love the Uncharted series. Like, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't hold high hopes for this.
Yeah,
I really don't. I've just been burned too many times with video game movies, and it never works. It never translates well.
The closest that I've seen is still Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And even still, that they botched it at the end a little bit.
Yep.
We've been burned way too many times. It doesn't translate. Like, leave the video games alone.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been kind of singing the praises of The Mandalorian because it's so
just a little bit.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I'll talk about more in our reviews. I'll get into it a bit more, but there is a possibility that we could get a Mandalorian film.
Okay.
You know, there's only been a couple episodes of it so far. So Alan Horn, who is the Disney Chief Creative Officer, says The Mandalorian is already proving to be a big thing. So if the series proves to be so compelling that we reverse engineer it into a theatrical release, a 2-hour film or whatever, okay. So
it wouldn't be like necessarily new, like we were just talking about a second ago with like Firefly to Serenity kind of a thing, just in addition to, this would actually be taking everything that The Mandalorian is and turning it into a movie, compacting it?
Or they, like, I think he's saying, you know, after the series wraps, or, you know, if we have series 2 or 3, maybe after that, maybe we can kind of get a movie to kind of wrap up the story.
Okay.
I could kind of see that happening.
I'd be fine with that. I think it would be kind of strange to have, like, you know, season 1, season 2, a movie, season 3, season 4.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Right? I don't think that's ever been done, and that would just...
It would make more sense to me, like, after the series ends, then give it a movie.
Well, what if it ends with, you know, him dying? Do you do, like, do you go beforehand?
Yeah.
Or another adventure that he went on?
Yeah, you could probably do another adventure. I don't know if you want to do a prequel.
Yeah.
About him kind of joining the Mandalorian cult, basically, is what it is. Kind of joining the Bounty Hunters Guild and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But
it's always best, I think, with a lot of these shows to have it after and to have it tie up stuff, because what you run into a little bit is kind of like what with the Star Wars movies, you know, he did 4, 5, and 6, and then you do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, and 3 looks better, like visually, you know, because the graphics are better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you always run the risk when you're doing like a prequel to something, is it looks better than the other stuff.
Yeah, that
right?
really does make much sense. Yeah.
So it's always, I believe it's always better to go that direction, you know, because then as the graphics improve, you can improve the show as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Man, okay, so is it just like, I know that it's like, there's a lot of hype around it, but is it just because like it's Star Wars and it's also new content, or is it Because the show is actually that great.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. That was a very politician answer there, Troy. What the hell? Yes. Oh, man. Yes to all the above?
Yes.
Okay. All right, fine, whatever.
I'll get into it more when we do our reviews.
I got you.
We'll talk about it.
So, speaking of Star Wars, a Star Wars Christmas, Jon Favreau wants a new Star Wars holiday special. Let sleeping dogs lie. Let sleeping Wookiees lie. Right? Like, just leave it alone. I don't think this is a good idea. Like, Star Wars is just has finally got kind of a resurgence and is getting a good taste in people's mouth again, right? After episode 9, where people were either like they loved it or they hated it, they were really on the fence.
I mean episode 8?
Or excuse me, episode 8, yeah. Episode 8, they're kind of on the fence about it either way. Let's not give them more cannon fodder to to make fun of.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I have started to put my trust in Jon Favreau.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
If you think of this stuff, the content that he's put out over the last decade, he's kind of hit home run after home run. He's had success after success after success after success.
Even with him being in the films, right?
Yeah.
Chef. Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Chef's great. I mean, everything he's doing right now is just kind of turning to gold. And so if he wants to do a holiday special, okay.
You'd actually, really?
In Johnny Favs, I trust.
All right.
I'm going to start putting that on my money.
Start drawing his face on the bill and, Yeah.
It's like, move over, Spielberg, Johnny Favs is in town.
He is making quite the name for himself.
Yes. I mean, he's a good storyteller and he's a good director.
Yeah, but is this really much of a story? The holiday episode?
Well, you could make it interesting. I mean,
how so?
I've seen the holiday special and it's crap.
Yeah.
But it's another excuse to explore more of the galaxy. And more
what things they're doing, when they're not making the movies, right? When they're not.
Well, or more of
when the stakes aren't so high and it's more of a holiday kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's just
different
kind
setting.
Of a different setting. Yeah, and to see the Star Wars universe in different different settings, different times, and it'd be hard for people to forget the other holiday special, but I don't think that Jon Favreau would go and have, where the story's again based around a family of Wookiees and all that nonsense. Yeah.
I don't know necessarily think that it's, I mean, I like a lot of his stuff that he's done, but I don't know if it's that, I don't know, just kind of let it disappear.
Well, and here's the other thing. Here's why I would watch it, because it seems like he gets and understands the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And so I think he's pretty much a fan himself, and he knows that the other holiday special was crap. And so I think that he would make sure that this was actually interesting, and that the visuals were good, and that the story was good.
Okay.
Whatever that might be. That's why I'm not as hesitant when it comes to him doing it. That's all.
Do you think that this is gonna exclude a lot of people or is he gonna try to incorporate a lot of different little holidays? Because it's a holiday special, so it's not necessarily a Christmas special, right? So it could have Hanukkah and Christmas and a couple other, some of these other holidays.
Well, the other holiday special is basically Christmas in space.
Yeah.
I would assume that's what he would do. But at the same time, I could see him coming up and making up other holidays.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars galaxy.
Oh, well, these creatures celebrate this holiday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But if I'm right now, if I'm Disney and I'm seeing the success that he's having, especially with Mandalorian, and he says, I want to do this holiday special in the Star Wars universe, I'm saying, yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we might be getting, or it looks like we are getting, Sin City. Frank Miller's Sin City is coming to television. It doesn't say where it's going to, whether it's going to be like on a streaming service or whatever, but
I feel like it would have to be Showtime or HBO.
Yeah. But it is, Frank Miller's novels are being adapted into a TV series. That is happening. That's so far what we know.
I have read the comic book. Like, I have read Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
And if they stay true to the comic, like, I have no problem with this, and I think it could be really awesome. I think it would also be really neat if they were to do it kind of in a noir style.
Yeah.
Whereas black and white, the whole series.
Like they did with the films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Dame to Kill For sucked, though.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
No.
Yeah.
But the first one.
The first one was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the only thing the second one had going for it was Eva Green.
Yeah.
And even still, you're like, eh.
I feel like there's a lot of different, like, Frank Miller, because Frank Miller's been around in the business for quite some time.
Yes.
And he's got hit after hit, but at the same time, there's also been periods where it's been not so good. So I would worry a little bit that they're going to kind of do what they've done with, like, Stephen King, where he's making, like, tons of money. Like, we're going to adapt everything into either a movie or a TV show or something. Like, we're going to, like, Stephen King, like, we're going to push this until we can't anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do that with, like, Frank Miller as well. I mean, take a couple of, Swamp Thing and some of these other ones and try to adapt them. But some of these lesser known ones, like, I would steer clear from.
Yeah. Like, I think what they could do with Sin City, if they want it to work, is adapt it kind of the same way they've done with The Watchmen. Set it in the universe and just let it play out from there with new characters. Maybe a couple of the older characters from the comics.
Yeah.
But just set it in a different area. Same universe, new stories.
Right. So that then they're not, like, getting all the fans upset that this isn't the way that I like, this isn't how it happened in the comics, then they can make it their own and it's still in that universe, but then, like, they run the risk of just piggybacking off of the name, off of whether it's Frank Miller's or whether it's Sin City's name, because you've got it in the same universe rather than doing that story.
Yeah, they do run the risk of that, but if they're just going to adapt the comic books, they only have so much material that they can adapt.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, if they were to do, like, 1 or 2 solid seasons and call it good.
True.
Like, there you go.
True. I guess if you took one of the books and made that an entire season.
Yeah.
Like 8 episodes or, something like that. And then the next series was the other book and then so on and so on. Because the books do kind of, from what I remember, they do kind of overlap each other. There are characters that appear from book to book.
Correct. Yeah.
Same characters.
It is, but then there's also, like, quite a bit of new content. So it's almost like similar to, like, Fargo or True Detective, where it's still in that same universe and it's still pretty similar, but it's its own separate thing.
Right.
So.
Right.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'll probably watch that one as well.
Yeah, I'd watch it too.
So I had to bring up this story because I thought it was like so dang crazy. There's this 9-year-old child genius that's about to graduate from university. And if you're unfamiliar with like university, so basically the way that it was explained to me, and this was just yesterday by one of my friends, she was saying that like uni or university is where you would go if you're, you know, kind of like similar to like our college. And then college is more similar to like a trade school or an applied technical college or one of these other ones where you can be more specific and you go into your field directly. Right? So where he's going into this like university, like it's basically like our college. So like just not to downplay it or anything at all, but that is so dang crazy. A 9-year-old kid that's like he's working on his bachelor's degree and like gonna be doing his master's. But the really kind of cool thing is he does want to, what he wants to do with this is he wants to start doing robotics. Well, more so, what is it, like for amputees?
Yeah.
And he eventually wants to get it to the point, I mean, this is just his idea, and this is what, like, the little kid, like, which if he's already getting his bachelor's, you know, like, I mean, more power to him, because he's got a lot of time that he can do whatever the heck he wants with, but he wants to get it to where amputees, basically, it's, like, almost, making a completely, like, hand that works, I don't know how to describe it. Like that works, that has like no kinks or holds up or you know, doesn't have any problems.
Yeah, works just like a normal hand would.
Correct.
Right. Yeah, that is pretty cool. It says he
plans to embark on his PhD.
Yeah, he's going to finish the degree in December, and he plans to embark on a PhD program in electrical engineering. So that means if he stays on where he is, he's 9 now. So that means he could have his doctorate before he's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's it. Like,
wow.
I think he probably like closer to like 12 or 15, dude.
That's what I said, before 20.
Oh, before 20. I got you. Yeah.
He could have his doctorate.
Dang. I like how in the article it also talks about like his parents, like, we noticed something special about him.
Yeah.
He was unique, you know. It's probably like his vocabulary, because as soon as he was born, you know, he just like automatically just like, hello, mother.
Yeah.
Good evening. Like,
yeah, you know,
he kind of reminds me like of a Stewie.
Yeah. Less evil.
Yeah. Perhaps. Maybe.
How to be a parent of a child that's pretty much a genius?
Oh, I don't even know.
For me, I would feel like I was just this big lumbering idiot all the time.
Like always watching your words, making sure that you're using proper grammar and stuff, you know? Like even that right there, like he just like, and stuff?
Yeah.
Nitpick everything.
Yeah.
I would send that kid off to like a private school where he can be amongst his peers. And me, you know, like the idiot that I am.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of interesting and had to bring that story up.
Well, hopefully he does. I'm sure he'll do stuff with his life, and hopefully years down the road we'll hear about what he's doing, because you know, you see these child prodigies, and obviously they've always been around, but you never. You see them when they're children, and then you never see them again.
Right. Like, to me, it's really reminiscent of child celebrities in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right? You see these people, and then you don't see what the heck they do for, like, years, and, you know, then they're strung out on coke.
Yeah. Or he's like, now he's, you know, he's working as a
Whopper flopper.
Yeah.
At McDonald's, you know.
Or he's just an accountant at some firm. You're like, oh, okay.
All right. Well, yeah.
And I think maybe that comes from these children are so ambitious when they're younger, and they push themselves so hard that once they become an adult and get out on their own, they just like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to coast now.
Right.
Like I did so much as a kid, and like no. It's like there was a picture going around for years in the last 15 years. Where there was this kid that was like this bodybuilding champion.
Right.
Like this kid was just like ripped out of his mind. You see that kid now, I think he's in his mid-20s. He just looks like an average dude.
Right.
You know?
Kind of like peaked, and then that was the end of it.
And they said, "Oh, are you interested in bodybuilding and stuff like that?" And he goes, "No, not anymore."
Did it like his whole entire life, up to that point.
And I mean, I think that's a lot of times why you don't hear about these extraordinary kids after a while, is because they just kind of fade into normalcy.
Well,
like the rest of us.
Is it also like, oh geez, is it the truth? But like, is it also that because it's come so easy to them, like ambition is gone? Like, you take a person that had to like work 3 jobs and go to school, and like they're trying to become, like they're trying to better themselves, that they're pushing themselves. So then they're like, well, yeah, I'm going to use this knowledge that I've just acquired and do something with it,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm going to put it to good use. Like this is what I'm working for.
Yeah.
So there's not this, like, it doesn't like come really super easy to them. And there's like, I know I'm going to pass these tests. I know I can do this. I know I can do this. And they just don't want to do anything like that. Is that also the case?
I think there is something to that.
Where it doesn't feel like it's as earned.
Yeah. Well, it's not as, because for those of us normies, that, like you were saying, we work for years to get a degree and then into the job we want, and I think we feel some sort of sense of accomplishment once we get there. Whereas someone like him, I think he runs the risk of, like you were saying, everything comes so easily that once he does get this success, it was like, well, yeah, of course I got this success. It's obvious. Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. So he doesn't as appreciate as much as like someone else, like some single mom who's trying to get a nursing degree and is working 3 jobs, and
Yeah. Well, that, and also like we've got lesser, like our measure of success is at a lesser level than theirs would be, right? For them with this much potential, like we're thinking success would be for this child to, like go to Mars, or discover some new planet, or do something else. Like the level for success for them is going to be much greater than like us, or any
the success level for mediocrity is a lot lower than
yeah. Oh man, really puts the things into perspective, doesn't it?
Really does. It really does.
One final story that I want to bring up to kind of change the topic here. Gargoyles creator launches a Twitter campaign in hopes of reviving the show. He went on like in his like Twitter campaign to talk about that, like this is such a beloved show, and there's so much additional stuff I wanted to tell about this show, but it kind of like got canceled in its prime. And so it would be new additional content. It's not like you're starting from the beginning again, but he wants to bring it back, and I am totally for this.
Yeah. It seems like, even though, because I read his tweet, and it seems like he's a little, he's coming off a little desperate.
Yeah. He's like, hey, Disney Plus, come on.
Yeah, because he says, we can live again, hashtag keep binging Gargoyles on hashtag Disney Plus. This is exactly how hashtag Young Justice fandom brought YJ back. It can happen to hashtag Gargoyles too. So he's like, he really wants this to happen really bad.
Yeah. Somebody's hard up for cash, perhaps?
I don't know. I mean,
well, that, and he's got to, how old is the creator, right? He's got to be like, what, in his 50s? Perhaps?
You'd think.
Right?
I would guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he did this show like back in his mid to, early 30s, so mid 20s, early 30s, something like that, right? now he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. Like, I'm even tentative to, like, use, like, hashtags and stuff like that. Because I'm like, it's not my thing. I don't know. I'll occasionally, I would never use hashtag blessed. If I do, that literally means that I've been kidnapped, Troy. Like, just like for the record, for everybody to know, if I ever use hashtag blessed, you know, in anything, that is code for, like, call the cops. I've been kidnapped.
All right.
Yeah. Just because, you know, like, I mean, I get that you have to do that to kind of stay relevant. You have to use hashtags and, you know, you have to tag people and you have to, like, create a social buzz about it. But
I mean, I do that for this show when I put it out.
Yeah.
But I don't do anything like, you know, hashtag listen to our podcast or anything like that. It was just like hashtag podcast or hashtag this. You know, it's nothing. Because
that's what initially, like, hashtags were meant for.
Yeah.
Right? You were supposed to, like, say you had a picture of, like, an Akita dog or something. You know, you'd put, like, hashtag Akita.
Yeah.
And then it would link it with all other pictures that have, like, been put on the internet of those specific things.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of changed since then. It's just like, it's almost like a PS.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
or an additional thought that you have on the end of it. Not that, like, I mean, I don't understand, like, that I'm like, oh, you young whippersnappers or anything like that. But at the same time, it's just, it's being used incorrectly.
Yeah, and then you think, when's the last time you ever clicked on a hashtag that anybody did? You know, I can't, I don't know.
I
don't think I ever have.
Right?
I've never actually clicked on one and you know, seen everything that has set that up. But
it also gets it on a lot more platforms because then it's also promoted and boosted on theirs as well, right?
Yes.
It's just another way to get your content out to the masses. But it does come across sounding a little desperate.
A little bit.
Which is sad because I would love to see the Gargoyles come back.
I'd love to see it too.
Yeah. And it seems like now is the time, like we talked about earlier, this is like this huge nostalgia kick.
Yeah.
Right?
Strike while the iron's hot.
But I wouldn't say, like, hey, it worked for these guys. Man, that was a weird way of, like...
It was a weird way. Weird way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it worked for these guys, so yeah, we can do it too. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's do it too. Yay.
Oh, man.
Let's help me too.
We can kind of read between the lines here a little bit.
It's just coming off as a little desperate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some reviews here. So,
of movies you should and shouldn't see.
Yeah. So I'll start off with Dr. Sleep. Because I want to save the Mandalorian for the last.
Okay.
Because I have a lot to talk about with that. Yeah, Dr. Sleep. Oh, cookie break.
Can't help it. Oh,
man. This is the sequel, pretty much the direct sequel to The Shining. It stars Ewan McGregor as Danny Torrance, who is now a grown adult man who's basically having trauma and PTSD of the stuff that happened to him when he was a kid. When we first see him, he's a mess. He's an alcoholic. You know, he's hooking up with random chicks in bars and doing blow and all kinds of. I mean,
oh wow,
yeah.
Well, and he'd seen the things that he'd seen,
exactly,
right?
Yeah,
you kind of can't blame him.
And he hasn't used his shine in years.
Is that what he calls it?
Yeah.
Like other people call it other things, but he calls it the shine.
The shine, or yeah, shining, yeah. He hasn't used that at all. Which was good for him because that means he's been off the radar of these people that basically, this group of nomads, gypsies, whatever, that feed off of people's shine. Those that do have these particular powers. This film has one of the more disturbing scenes.
Okay.
That will haunt me for a while.
Yeah.
That has to do with a the murder and dismemberment of a child.
Wow.
Yeah. And apparently kind of, from what I've read, it kind of disturbed the cast, too, when they had to film it.
Is it... You saw the witch, right?
Yeah.
Is it more graphic than that? Because they kind of like just alluded to the fact that she was like...
Yeah, it's more graphic than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically what they do, they kind of feed off the life force of these people, and that's kept them alive for hundreds and hundreds of years. And apparently, the best way to get this is either through pain or fear.
So it's like an upgraded Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, kind of. Except the monsters didn't feed off of their screams like these people do.
They use it for power.
They use it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was their energy. They weren't literally eating it. That would have been...
That we know of.
That would have been much more disturbing. So, yeah, so Danny not hooks up. That'd be, no. But he teams up with this teenage girl.
Hooks up.
Yeah. Wrong choice of words. Who is very powerful, has kind of the same abilities as he does, but is even more powerful than he is. And so she's all of a sudden on the radar of these people who are now coming after her, and so she needs his help to, get away from these people and that sort of thing. That's the basic premise.
Okay.
Now, here's the obvious question. Do you have to have seen The Shining in order to understand this movie?
Right, that's what I asked you even before the episode started.
I've never seen The Shining.
Okay.
But, and like I told you, it is important to have
an idea,
an understanding of The Shining and what it's about and
right.
what happened.
Yeah.
So you do have to have a little bit of knowledge of it, of the story, or else I think you might be a little confused, because there are flashbacks to The Shining.
Okay.
And there are things that do happen, like the third act of the film takes place at the Overlook Hotel.
Which we still need to go to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen The Shining, then you don't know what this hotel is all about and
why it's so significant.
Why it's there and why are all these, ghosts there and what the deal is.
So was it more grounded, or was it more dealing with ghosts?
It's more grounded.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
which makes it more terrifying for you specifically, right?
Yeah. Because the main antagonists are these group of people that are actually alive and can hurt you.
That have ulterior motives for what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really liked it.
Okay.
I liked it quite a bit, actually. And I don't think it's getting as much praise as it should be, because I don't think a lot of people are seeing it because they don't know what it is.
Right.
With the film title Dr. Sleep, like, you don't know what that is. If they were to call it like The Shining 2 or Dr. Sleep or
that seems a little like,
or The Shining Presents,
because they've already
Dr.
done
Sleep.
They've already done the book Dr. Sleep, right, which was a New York bestseller.
Yeah.
So,
but a lot of people just don't know.
Right.
Like, I'd never heard of Dr. Sleep before, and I'm pretty plugged into this kind of stuff.
Right.
And the fact that I'd never heard of it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because
kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm a fan of Stephen King. And so that would let me know that I would think that the average person doesn't know that this is even a book, that just doesn't even, that this exists.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why it hasn't done so well.
Okay.
And like we were just saying at the beginning of the show, it hasn't made a lot of money.
But that doesn't determine,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not a good show, because it really is. It really is good. So out of out of 5 little wooden boxes,
Yeah.
I would give it like 3.5.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That to me, like anything above 3, like I take to mean that like you'd want to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go see it in theaters. It's not scary if you're worried about that. It's more of a thriller kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not a horror film.
Huh. Well, there you have it. The movie that I saw, it wasn't. I'm throwing in this disclaimer. It wasn't my choice to go.
Wasn't my idea.
Movie. Yeah. I mean, I was going on a date, and she's like, "Hey, we should see this." I mean, I'm like, "Oh, there's these movies out in theaters," and she's like, "Oh, we should go see this one." Like,
no, look,
yeah.
I know exactly how you feel because I once went on a date where we saw Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And Lord of the Rings was in theaters, but no, we saw Jimmy Neutron because she wanted to.
Wow.
So, believe me, I know how you feel.
Yeah. All right. So, this movie, and I don't even care like that much that I'm going to give a little bit of a spoilers away because
Yeah.
It's been in theaters for long enough, right?
I don't think anybody cares.
No. Yeah. Grace, who is an upgraded Terminator, comes to the future, like our future, to help save this girl, Danny. Danny is over in New Mexico, and her and her brother and her family kind of live over there, and they work kind of construction jobs. And this Terminator that comes, like, starts taking out everybody and all of her family and friends, and Grace, who's the new and upgraded Terminator, right, that's been sent here to protect her, has to get her out of Dodge pretty quickly.
This is Terminator Dark Fate, by the way. I don't think we said that.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, yeah. Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's been getting like a lot of hype and a lot of praise and stuff like that, but no. If you're a fan of even if you're not that big of a fan of the Terminator franchise, we encounter Sarah Connor pretty quickly right off the bat, and she's been basically fighting these Terminators that come back. I guess Grace isn't really a Terminator. She's more of like a bionic human. Mm-hmm. Like half human, half robot upgrade model that volunteered to live again and to help out. But Sarah Connor, she's been fighting these Terminators her whole entire life, which they keep getting sent back to assassinate certain people or take out other people, and she's been putting a stop to it. She gets like a text message that she doesn't know who's sending it. She gets a text message from somebody, and it says like, "Hey, be at this spot this time." So she goes there. A Terminator comes, the sky starts crackling, and a Terminator comes out of the sky, and then she kills it before it has a chance to kill its intended target. Mm-hmm. So she's basically, she's kind of this unsung hero that's been doing it for a long time. It was really kind of reminiscent of the new Halloween movie. Right? Where she's been doing this her whole entire life, and this is what she's devoted her life to, and she doesn't really get any thanks, and she kind of brings this up that she's just like, well, you're welcome, I've saved Earth,
saved the world.
Dozens of time, and I'm not getting any recognition here, but Linda Hamilton, she's looking good for her age. Yeah. She's pretty tough. And it shows. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like, like a Betty White kind of trying to hold a gun. Right. But they're running around, and everything just seemed to happen so easy for them. Right? It was just like, oh, we have a problem. We have to stop this Terminator, and he can't die like any normal way. So we've got to create some sort of shockwave to kind of knock him down long enough that we can kill him.
Yeah.
Right? And then Sarah Connor's just like, oh, I know a guy. And then this military guy who just like shows up out of the blue, and he's just like, hey, I'm going to help you because I've got this like small compact one that you can use. And they're like, okay. But
As you do.
Yeah. But then like, he doesn't even tell the military what he's doing. And he kind of like, he would like risk his life to help out her just because she's a friend. And it just seems like everything like keeps happening. Like they need a car, and then all of a sudden there's a car there, or like she's just trying to decipher because Sarah Connor doesn't know who's sending these text messages. And spoiler alert, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger that's been helping her out, right? And also Grace, who's the bionic woman, she's got a tattoo on her side with coordinates that they said like, hey, if you ever need any help, go to these coordinates. Guess whose house it is?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's.
Booyah! Look at this, man. You could write this movie, Troy.
Wow. Shocking.
Right? So it's just, it seems like all the pieces, I mean, it just like happens so easy for them, and like there's nothing really like, there's no big reveal, or you're not like surprised by anything that happens. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's getting up there in age, and he comes across as more kind of like a grizzled dude, because he's also had a life, with this woman over in Mexico that he's had, like, or I guess I can't remember where. I believe it's Mexico. She's Mexican, but she's got a couple of kids, and he's just like, yeah, like she needed a man, but I can't like perform sex or anything with her, but like she needed a man to take care of her, so I'm here. And then like
I can't perform sex.
Yeah,
sex does not happen.
It's ridiculous. Like, and it is so cheesy. It's so cheesy because like he's like, I don't feel these emotions that you would normally feel, like, you know, that you humans would feel, but I still care about her.
I can't get the boner. I can't get the boner.
And there's some cheesy lines in this movie as well. The action scenes were pretty cool. And like definitely the visuals were there, but I couldn't look past of how like stupid the plot was. Mm-hmm. That they just needed like this like the Terminator just needs to die, like this whole franchise.
Yep.
Yeah. Out of 5, we'll go with let's see, rebarb pipes. I'm sitting at about 1.5.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty forgettable. Like, it's not very memorable.
Where are my Viagra pills? Okay. You've also caught up on The Watchmen, right?
Correct.
TV series. Yeah. What do you think of that so far?
I'm really liking it. There's still like so many questions that I've got that like, because it's so new, they're doing a good job of just like not revealing everything, you know, like not
yeah, just giving you little bits and pieces here.
Right.
Here and there. And
like trying to piece this story together. Like it's one I'm going to continue to watch.
Yeah.
But
me too.
I don't know. I've got like all these questions, but I don't want to like say anything because I want to like spoil anything for anyone else that hasn't watched it yet. But it's definitely worth watching if you're a fan of like you know, the Watchmen series, or even like a lot of these DC darker, grittier crime mysteries. You know,
yeah,
it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about briefly here. Well, as quick as we can, about The Mandalorian. Now, so have you not seen this yet?
I have not, no.
Okay. So basically, here's a setup for The Mandalorian. It takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Okay. So the Empire has been defeated at this point. They're no longer the big threat of the galaxy. So everyone is now there's basically kind of a power vacuum, and pretty much everybody is trying to, you know, just make a buck wherever they can.
Yeah. It's a lawless land.
Pretty much. And thus enters the Mandalorian, who is a bounty hunter for hire. And when you first see him, he's collecting this bounty. I mean, it's like it's straight out of a Western film. He walks into this saloon. When he's walking, I think you hear spurs.
Seriously?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's very westernized.
Does he bust through like two like doors that kind of like the flap-wing ones?
The saloon doors?
Saloon-looking doors?
No.
Right? Oh, okay.
It's a door that...
Spire circles.
Yeah.
Spins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. A Star Wars door.
A Star Wars door, yeah. And so, yeah, you see him complete that mission, and then when he goes back, he goes back to the guy that basically gives him all these bounties, and he's reading them all off, and he says, "What's your most expensive bounty?"
Yeah.
So he
high
tells
risk,
him,
high reward kind of a bounty.
So he tells him, and he goes and talks to this guy who was... You get the feeling that he was part of the Empire at some point, because when he walks in, his bodyguards are stormtroopers.
Okay.
So at some point, he was part of the Empire. And he says, there's this thing I need you to go get. There's a package I need you to go get. And he pays him with with Star Wars money. And you get the feeling that it's more than he's ever been paid before.
Right.
So
was this the guy? This was the guy that he was supposed to take out?
No.
Okay.
No, this is okay. So there are a couple guys here. So there's the one guy played by Carl Weathers, and that's the guy that he goes to get the bounties from.
Right.
Carl Weathers tells him about this really expensive bounty, but you got to go talk to this guy about it.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it's very top secret.
Yeah.
So he goes and talks to this guy. So he heads off to the planet where the mission is. It's a very Tatooine-ish planet. I don't think it's Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. Do they still tell you which planet they're on?
No.
Okay.
And not, I don't want to give any spoilers away, though it is on Facebook at this point. Anyway. The package that he gets, that he's supposed to get is quite the surprise.
Okay.
And so then episode 2 is him trying to protect this package from other bounty hunters that come in. Then
other people are hearing about this as well. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And you get the feeling that there's another faction that wants this thing that he has dead. And he's trying to keep it alive. So then the episode 2 is with, we have a story with the Jawas. Because he goes back to his ship and the Jawas have completely stripped down his ship. So he's got to go get his parts back.
Yeah.
And that turns into a whole thing. And he's got to fight this big beast for an egg that he can get to the Jawas so they can give him his parts back. Anyway, that's basically in a nutshell. But the reason I like this show so much is because it reminds me of the first Star Wars film, A New Hope. The effects, for the most part, are practical, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, it takes place after Return of the Jedi, so you're not taking place in the prequel world where everything's shiny and new and everything's wonderful.
This is like the sands of time have definitely, taken its toll.
Everything's gritty and worn down and it feels like Star Wars.
Okay.
That not a lot of the Star Wars we've gotten lately have felt like Star Wars.
Yeah.
This feels like Star Wars. And so if you're a Star Wars fan and you're not watching it, I would say, what is wrong with you?
Dang it. Yeah. I don't know, Troy. I don't know.
Because it's so good. This is what Star Wars fans have been wanting ever since we heard that Disney was buying Star Wars.
Right.
This is the type of thing we wanted.
Yeah.
We wanted shows that were set in the Star Wars universe, familiar Star Wars universe, but with new characters, and maybe not necessarily part of the Skywalker saga, but let's look at what everybody else is doing around the galaxy.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a galaxy far, far away.
Exactly. And so this is what this is. And it's, those that have been screaming for like a Boba Fett show, here it is.
Yeah.
Those that have been screaming for Star Wars to get back to its roots, here it is. And so you need to watch it because it's so good.
All right.
It's so good.
I think that's just kind of pushed me over the edge. I'm just gonna break down and just get it.
Just get it. Yeah. Just get Disney Plus. And after The Mandalorian, cancel your subscription and then wait for season 2 and then get the subscription back. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, out of 5
boxes.
Boxes. Out of 5 I don't know. Eggs. Out of 5 eggs, I'm sitting at like 4.5.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Dang.
And that's only the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
it's just it's so good. I cannot wait until next Friday when the other episode comes out.
It's been a long time since you've had a show that you've been like really excited to see and waiting for each episode.
Yeah. So I mean, with that and Watchmen. And I got the Picard series coming out in January.
Discovery.
Discovery. And I have this new Superman series that's being developed. I mean, it's just...
it's another good year to be a geek.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Let's wrap it up here. We've gone kind of long, so I don't think we'll have a post-credit scene this time, so... But here's where you can find us. You can listen to all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Google Play, and cosmicpotato.com. On the social media, you can find us at facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can also find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. You can also call or text the show at any time at 385-240-1692. So, this has been World War G episode 243. That's been AJ.
That's been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends.